Wowee, look at the size of this thing. Woo! I'll be darned. Beatles 6. Cardboard promotional stand-up piece made by Capitol Records in the spring of 1965 for the release of this record. Very large cardboard piece. The framing here, of course, is even larger, but the cardboard piece is about 45 plus inches in one direction and 23 plus inches in the other. So that is a big piece. Now it's flattened here for the framing job, beautifully done, but it's a trifold piece where the two flaps on either side would come forward and it would stand up on its own. So we're talking the spring of 1965 here, right on the cusp actually of going into summer. And it's nice they show the stereo album covers for all the previous 5 and the Beatles 6 album. That's kind of nice. And you might notice on either flap on either side, the previous 5 albums are all represented with Roman numerals by them. And that's sort of, Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Beatles 6, of course, has the Roman numeral on the cover as well. So sort of a consistency of design there. Now this thing, if you take everything all together, these 6 album covers on this big, beautiful point-of-purchase piece for retail record stores, you get yourself 46 song titles. Wow, talk about a real, let's face it, by the middle of 65, that means the Beatles had been on the American scene about 18 months, and so, Beatlemania was calming down somewhat, but still, it's the creme de la creme of the Beatles' early catalog, that's for sure. And if those 46 song titles aren't enough, believe it or not, the Beatles' faces. There are 51 different Beatle faces on this particular cardboard display piece, so between the 6 album covers, so that's pretty funny. Now you might say, where's the Beatles story? That came out in December of 64, just before Beatles 65, right? So where is that? Well, apparently Capitol just does not really count that as an official release. It was a 100% American Capitol concoction, and it was put together without input from EMI Records over in England, never mind, the Beatles or their producer George Martin. So it's probably fairly safe to assume that, EMI and the Beatles let Capitol put together this documentary thing, The Beatles Story, and release it, as long as they don't consider it part of the group's official canon. Part of the catalog, yes, but the actual canon, if you will, to use that word, no. And to that end, there's no real marketing materials for the Beatles story anywhere. It's not its own promo poster or anything. It just appears at the bottom of another promo poster. So you've got this patched together record, Beatles 6, right here, the highlight, the centerpiece of the big promo display, and just with the simple title of Beatles 6. And the record's not shown too much love and respect, but it does have a big hit single, #1 single with 8 Days a Week on there. And, for my money, that picture of the Beatles in the center there, the color photo of them all putting their hands together, if you're a Beatle fan, you're familiar with it. I think that's absolutely a fabulous photo of the Beatles. I was looking through all the other album covers, and I think just as people, not maybe as musicians, but just as human beings, that might be the best cover photo of the Beatles of any of their album covers on either side of the Atlantic. It's just, they're obviously not faking their smiles. They're really, warmed up and having a good time, and they're just genuine smiles, and I think they're dressed nicely. I think that really carries the album cover, and therefore this promo display, just a great picture of the Fab Four right there in the middle. So, there you have it. Wow, a really big one there. Barely got it all into the viewfinder. Big, huge promo display for Beatles 6 from